sciences. I've been heavily involved in Columbine since my first year. I was an intern, and then turned out to be academics coord, moral coordinator, and then tribal coord for this year. The only reason why I'm running for CAVA is because the things that CAVA has brought to me, and the opportunities and the gateways of like my extracurriculars and who I am today is because of CAVA, and solely because I want to return the same favor that it did for me, and hopefully make sure that like it is transparent to the new class next year and to the people who don't come on as much this year. I want to bring those people back that were like hesitant in coming, like want them to like show my passion and my love for CAVA as it did for me when I was the first year. So yeah.
Okay, so does anybody have any questions?
Good. Islamic is like, everyone knows about it, where it came from, the UFW movement and all that. But one of the things that was in my, like placed in my head was that Islamic meant that everyone's like you're part of everybody. Like one person, you're not by yourself on this whole call board kind of thing, and that's what I want to like put in call board's mind. Like as president, I want to show them that everyone's programming is your programming, and that's what Islamic means to me. Like I don't want you to feel alone like when you're on this journey on yourself, because it's a very hard position, and as board members, like I want them to feel like they're not alone at all. So that's what Islamic means to me. Especially when it comes to like if one person falls, we have each other to carry each other throughout the programming or throughout the year. So like we're each other's support. I definitely I like your viewpoint about like why we're here for UCI, but I really think school spirit depends on the person on itself. As Columbine, we're not here to promote what UCI is doing, but we're here to promote what CAVA can bring to them. You know, the reason why people go into clubs and organizations is to find that thing that they can't find that UCI can bring to them, you know, and that's what CAVA is. That was the reason why I fell in love with UCI, and UCI wasn't like, I feel like CAVA should open that gateway of like giving them the opportunity to love CAVA and not just UCI too. Did a lot of community service where like they did food banks. That was pretty cool. Not only that, but I feel like since we're a multicultural organization and that deals with Filipinos, I think community service also goes back to giving back to our Filipino community. There's a lot of things that happen throughout the year that like I wish CAVA could have been part of, as in like being like standing up for the community that like they were kind of represented, and like they didn't talk about like the Jennifer Laude thing. I wish that we talked more about. And community service also deals with TAPS and like relying and returning it back to UCI. I don't like keeping it, like if I were president, I wouldn't want to keep the conversation of TAPS only between board. I've seen from the past years that I've been at UCI that TAPS is only a board thing, and like, oh, a board should only do it. But I feel in order to have that organized and mobilized, like you need to, like board members need to open it up and make an initiative of making sure that the members are also accountable. As Filipino American students on this campus, it's not only the board that's accountable to make TAPS happen, but I feel like it's something that should be a drive between all the Filipino American students. And through that, I want to make sure that the CAVA board is educated about TAPS, to make sure that they keep that message like thorough and like clear to the members of Alianza, just so that they can understand it too, and not just have it thrown in their face like, oh, we need to do TAPS, but what's TAPS, you know? In my opinion, a lot of inactives happen because of what they feel, what CAVA is going towards. I want to change that idea towards them. Personally, it's hard for me to, like, if there is a lot of inactives, it's personally hard for the board or even myself to contact each and every one of them. But it's up to the board and me to make sure programming, make it transparent for them to catch their interests. You know, like, as called by president and as a, like, part of the person on board, like, it's our job to make sure that they come back by making new programming for them to be like, hey, look, you know, CAVA's bringing this back, or oh, this is new in CAVA, like I might as well check it out, you know. So. have friends from Samahang board that have experience by making campaigns about the Filipino American community, and I want to bring that to Kababayan. USAC and UCLA and Samahang, they're very political, and I know that's a big step for Kaba, but I think the introduction of having campaigns that support the Filipino American community would definitely bring that in the relation to what Samahang does, you know. Campaigns such as the March of 400 or the 400 in Solidarity, that's stuff that if you are more interested, talk to me about. I can't explain on this platform, but come talk to me, and like those are some of the campaigns for the Filipino community that I would like to bring here. Going back to the idea of isang stuff, I personally approach them and talk to them, like see what's up with them, of why they're not doing it on board. I kind of don't want them to feel like they're secluded and like, oh, I'm not gonna like pay attention to it or anything like that. Like I want it to be one of the first things that I notice if one person or one board member is not doing their job. Like that's for me to try to talk to them and see what's up with them, and if they do need help, then it's not only that we're helping, like I'm helping you, but everyone else on board is gonna help that person who's falling out, you know. Isang Bagsak is one fall, one shot, you know, like we all pick each other up. But if it's really personal, then I just want to see where that person's going from and like try to help them as much as possible. I know a lot of the internship, like I could be biased about being an intern, and I could say, oh, it was the best experience, and everyone who had their own intern experience could say, oh yeah, like it had fun. But honestly, even when I was an intern, I felt like we were too exclusive about, oh, we're interns, you know, we're doing this for board and we're going to be on board. I want to change that mindset where interns don't really have to feel like they're entitled to being like, oh, I'm this board member, you know, I'm part of board, I'm part of this core thing. Like I want them to feel like they're just a member, but also like finding more behind the scenes. And I want to like change that in a way where we have board members interact more, and like I want to push the interns to interact more with the club members than just being behind the scenes and by the sides of the tables. Right now for this year, or like in my point of view? For this year though, like this. Yeah. Definitely, I think the strongest one has been social, and I think the weakest one has been political. Don't get me wrong, I see Kaba talk about doing political stuff or like stances on things that are related to this campus or to the community, but I really feel like their voice is very quiet. We're a big org, and I feel like we don't utilize our members enough to educate them about our political stances or what like we should really do for the community and why we're here. Or like, not why we're here, but like what's important kind of thing, you know, like you die for as a Filipino, and that's one of the quotes that like go for me. Hold on. And then for social, it's strong, and I get it. Like everyone comes here to make friends and family, and that's why I came in, because everyone was so welcoming, and I loved it, and I loved hanging out with them. Like every pillar should be touched upon. Oh, okay. You know, when on my year on board, we did a lot of cultural meetings where we did the family ties meeting. I wish that I saw like the past years when I got back, or when I was a general member. And like it's meetings like that where you tie in so many stuff from your culture and to the pillars that make it more apparent to make sure that your Filipino culture is shown. You know, like the family ties meeting was more about, oh, like my family is from Ilocos Norte, you know, that area does this. And oh, this after event's about K-Fam, you know, let's hang out with K-Fam, talk about your stuff like you had in the Philippines. And like some other meetings that I had when I was on board was we talked about like Filipino games. That was an after event, you know, like those are things that like can bring out the Filipino culture. And like if you want to know more about those events, talk to me, because yeah, it's good. Kat Amadar and Armand Liwanag would be one of the top two presidents that I really like. Kat Amadar was president a long time ago. 04, yeah, so 10 years ago. She was, 10 years ago, and she comes from Carson, so like I've seen her around, and like I've talked about like our hometown and stuff. And we also talked about Calvin, like this amazing family. And when, it was one time where me, Armand, and Kat were actually at FPAC, and we were talking about how like we like the family of Cabo, you know, and those are the people who set it off for me. They're the reasons why I keep coming back to Kava even though it may seem like I don't have a passion for it, I really do. They're the reasons why I fall in love with it every time, because every time I talk to them, they return that family aspect and that passion for the community that they had into me. And that's something that I wish I could do with everyone else, and that's what I want to try to do with everyone else next year when I get a chance to talk to like general members. Definitely being more out there than I could. I know that being president and being the forefront of it is a scary thing. You're like surfaced with 300 other people and you don't know what to do. But to attract more members who are not Filipino or even who are Filipino or even members who are just like thinking about Kava and like they're hesitant, I really do want to like talk with them one by one and show them my experience about Kava. Usually tell them about like, oh, it could be really intimidating at like times, but give them a conversation that everyone's welcoming, everyone's a family in here, and even though there may be some cliques, making sure that everyone is included is something that I want to see happen. Definitely, I like a huge diverse group of people. I'm not going to be picky. I'm not going to say like what kind of characteristics that everyone should have, because I think that's kind of biased and that's kind of like, oh dude, I'm keeping up a standard of what board members should be. What I really do want to see though is that passion and drive from each and every person who applies for a appointed board. Even if it's an exec board, you know, like when they're doing their platforms, you definitely want to see that passion, you know. You don't want people who are on board who don't think of this as their first priority when it really is. I want to see that passion where they know that Kava is something that's really important and they can't just half-ass it. They can't be like, oh, I can do this later. Because it's an organization that carries 300 other people. It's an organization that keeps going, but it needs you to keep going with them. If that was if that realistically did happen, there's been boards before all of this, you know. There's been board members that keep coming back and keep wanting to help each other. And I feel like that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my resources of like calling people from Packing Board, calling people from Kava Board and saying, look, my board dropped. I don't know what to do, but honestly, I know you all had experience with Kava Board before, and I know how you all know how to handle them, so please help me. You know, that's something that I wish a lot of people looked for. Like, alumni is a big part of where we are. And, like, the reason why we still keep doing what we do is because they keep telling us stories about how Kava is amazing, and we want to keep showing that through everything. And like, they have so much experience that I feel like they would help us with first gen. So definitely hit up all board members I know and be like, look, we need help with first gen. You know how crazy it gets.
Oh, he's like wait, is that kinetic? You're not a physics major? Beach pod.
Kinetic. I always think that Kava is never static. I think it's always moving. So it's something that is in relation to our culture. It's always not just stable, it's always changing. So kinetic, as a club and our culture, is something that we move with it and we create out of it. Awesome, self-explanatory. Kava is awesome. That's why I keep coming back to it. Bodacious is only because this is a 300-member club. I've seen how general, it's huge, you know. It's bodacious. Weird word, but I know. I say he's big, but I think bodacious is cool. All around is because Kava serves there's a lot of the members on UCI, and we're just like people who are all around, you know, just all around. I don't know. Yeah. I was very hesitant because staying in 5th year is something that like a lot of people are like, oh, you should focus on your life. But Kat Amadar was actually a 5th year president, and that's why I think a lot of like why my role model is like, dude, like if she can do it, I can do it too. She definitely told me watch out about like doing it as your 5th year because you really feel like you want to graduate, you want to leave. You've been here for 5 years, so why do you stay here? Like you should like focus on your life, and that's where I feel like I fail is because I put too much on my plate, and I want to make sure that Kava is good too before I leave. But I also should be thinking about my life, and that's one thing that I know a lot of people struggle on board, and that's one thing I also want to work with board and find a line where we can focus on our lives, but also return back to the Kava vibe that we have. The club. So yeah. Any celebrity?
Me.
James Franco.
Alright, now that Zayn Malik is out of work. I definitely asked her to join Columbine board. We had that One Direction that will help us go through Wonder. See, exactly. And a lot of people love Zayn, and people cried over it. And dude, he has a man bun, so he can be on board with me.
Perfect.
And he's not busy anymore. He has.
He has a solo
career. What position? Definitely publicity.
How about exec? You know exec board.
He has my vote.
Exec board? I think IVP would do. You can work internally. Just kidding. Okay, so I definitely choose Olivia Wilde
Yes.
for secretary because who else? For external vice president, I would do Common / John Legend. They're amazing with the community that they work for. They also do a lot of like outside work that a lot of people don't know about, and they do a lot of humanitarian work. Who else do I have? Treasurer? Bill Gates. Because you can have a Gates Millennium Scholarship for Kava, and that's cool. I have two aspects that I really, but they're interchangeable. They relate. It's some of the bug slug aspect that we have, which is the family aspect, and understanding that everyone's programming is our programming. We don't seclude, like from my year, we didn't want to seclude everybody by feeling like they're alone on this. You know, like if you need help with their programming, like board has to be there to support that programming. I know that kind of seems like a lot of more work on each appointed board member, but that's something that we all ingrained and like all understood that like we need to help each other, and this is not a thing that we're stepping by ourselves. But I know where that could be a double-edged sword, and where it could make it seem like Kava board is being exclusive, and I don't want to make it seem that Kava board is exclusive because we're there for each other, but we also want to welcome everyone else so that they can help board and help general members.
Or if you know harder, if you'd be a Disney prince, who would you be?
Ooh. How much any Disney character?
Definitely not Prince Hans, but definitely not. Wait, any Disney character?
Any Disney prince.
Prince.
Sora.
I don't even know the
Captain Jack Splash.
princess. Can I do? I'll do princess. I don't know the princess names. I'll do princesses. I would be Rapunzel because she has nice hair, but only because she broke down all the rules that she had. You know, she broke free and she wanted to do something that, even though it sounds like Frozen, but it's not. She really went on her own and like made sure that she did things in her own hands. Like she didn't make anyone control it anymore after she escaped. You know, she wanted to go have fun. She wanted to live life, and Rapunzel's cool.
Remember that.
You didn't say I didn't have fire material, right? Like I can. It's a metaphor. I would get the gas there, I would get the lighter, because you didn't say no, and then I'd burn the tree down and be like, fire.
There it is.
Like questions about me being a fifth year and a lot of questions about, oh, this is his third time doing a platform and why is he doing it again? There's a fair reason of why Kabla has always been in the back of my mind and why I keep coming back to it. It's the family aspect, it's the social aspect, it's the cultural aspect, it's all the pillars that created Kabla Bayan to make that club for me, and that's the club that I want to show towards everybody. Everyone can ask, oh dude, like why is he coming out? Like isn't he too old? That's not the case here. Like it's my love for Kabla that's more important than anything else. You all can talk about how I'm a fifth year and be like, oh dude, shouldn't you care about graduation? No, I should really care about what I want to do as president. So, yeah.
Alright, cool. So, congrats, you're done. Yay!